My own mother betrayed me. A sister's inheritance scheme shatters our family. The silence was deafening, broken only by the frantic thumping of my own heart, echoing in my ears like a death knell. At the family reunion, my sister, Riley, cornered me with news that ripped the rug out from under my entire life. Mom gave me the house. It wasn't the words themselves, but the cold, calculating glint in her eyes that sent a shiver of premonition down my spine. I managed a weak smile, a desperate attempt to cling to some semblance of normalcy, and retorted, "That's impossible, because the deed was signed over to me." The annual family reunion was always a tightrope walk for me, a delicate balance of forced smiles and unspoken resentments. This year, I was playing host at the old Lakeside Cottage in Upstate New York, a place steeped in history and echoing with the ghosts of happier times. But it wasn't the creaky floors or the musty smell that filled me with unease. It was the assembled cast of characters, me family, all crammed under one roof. And, of course, my sister, Riley. The air crackled with forced joviality, punctuated by the raucous laughter of children playing some game. Riley and I have always been oil and water since childhood. You know the type. She was the golden child, effortlessly gliding through life with charm and grace, while I was branded the difficult one, forced to claw my way through every challenge. I thought I'd buried the hatchet, moved past the childish rivalry, but as I refilled my glass of wine, a knot of dread tightened in my stomach. Something was brewing. Riley had barely acknowledged me since arriving with her husband, Greg, and their daughter, Sophia. A few stiff pleasantries exchanged earlier, and then, nothing. But just as I started to believe I might escape the day unscathed, she materialized beside me, her voice a low hiss. "Hey, Liz, can we talk?" My heart lurched. "What's up?" I asked, trying to keep my voice even. Her eyes darted nervously around the room, as if gauging the risk of being overheard. "Not here. Let's go outside." We stepped onto the porch, the cool breeze from the lake doing little to soothe the rising panic in my chest. Riley leaned against the railing, her expression carefully neutral. "So," she began, "I didn't want to bring this up in front of everyone, but I thought you should know. Mom gave me the house." My initial reaction was disbelief, a surge of hysterical laughter bubbling in my throat. "What are you talking about?" I asked, forcing a smile. I had gone with Mom to the lawyer's office last year. It had to be a cruel joke, but Riley's face remained stone cold, her eyes locked on mine with unsettling intensity. "Mom gave me the house, Liz. We went to her lawyer a few months ago. She signed everything over to me." My mind raced, trying to reconcile her words with the reality I knew. There was no way. I had the paperwork. I was the one who handled everything after Dad passed away. Mom had promised Emmy I had it in writing. "That's impossible," I finally managed, my voice trembling. "The deed was signed over to me last year. I was there. I went with her." Riley shook her head, a hint of pity in her eyes. "I know, but she changed her mind." My stomach churned. "I don't want to fight about this," she continued, her voice dripping with false concern. "I just thought you should know before you heard it from someone else." Changed her mind. The words escaped me in a shaky whisper. "Why wouldn't you tell me? Why wouldn't Mom?" I trailed off, the betrayal stinging like a physical blow. "I don't know, Liz," Riley said, avoiding my gaze. "I think she just figured you had your own life, your own house." "Well, I've been struggling," I snapped, my voice rising. "You know Greg lost his job, and Sophia has been having a hard time at school." "Don't give me that," I spat. "Struggling? You barely set foot in that house for years. I've been the one taking care of it, and now, suddenly, you swoop in, and she just hands it to you." She bit her lip, feigning innocence. "It's not like that. You don't need the house, Liz. You and Mark are doing fine. This is just something she did to make things easier for me." "Easier for you?" I echoed, incredulous. "Do you even hear yourself right now? You don't think giving away the house is a big deal?" "The house Dad built with his own hands. The house I've spent years maintaining while you live in your pristine suburban home, pretending like you care about anything besides yourself." She flinched, but I was beyond caring. "Liz, you're overreacting." "Don't you dare tell me I'm overreacting," I roared, my voice shaking with fury. "This isn't just about the house, and you know it." Riley's eyes narrowed. "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means you've always gotten the better end of everything. You've always had Mom in your corner, always had the easy way out. I've been the one holding this family together, and now this. You're just going to waltz in and take the one thing I had left." Her face flushed crimson. "Do you think my life is so perfect? Do you think I haven't struggled? Just because I don't complain about every little thing doesn't mean I haven't had my share of problems." "But sure, Liz, go ahead and play the victim, as usual." "I'm not playing the victim," I retorted, my voice raw with emotion. "I just want to know why you always get everything handed to you, and I'm the one left cleaning up the mess." Maybe she thought you wouldn't make this into some huge drama, but clearly, she was wrong. She spat, her voice dripping with venom. I opened my mouth to unleash a torrent of fury, to say something that would wound her as deeply as she had wounded me, but then the back door swung open, Everything okay out here? Greg asked cautiously, holding a tray of burgers. Yeah, everything's fine, Riley said smoothly, her voice suddenly calm. How easily she could switch on the charm. Just catching up. Greg looked between us, clearly sensing the tension, but wisely retreated. All right, I'll leave you to it, then. He disappeared back inside, leaving Riley and me standing in strained silence. This isn't over, I hissed, my eyes burning into hers. Riley stared at me for a long moment, a flicker of something unreadable in her eyes. I know. The rest of the day passed in a blur of forced smiles and awkward conversations. I could feel Riley's eyes on me throughout the festivities. Later that night, after everyone had gone to bed, I called Mom's lawyer. I sat on the edge of the bed in the guest room, my heart pounding as the phone rang. Liz, it's late, John, the lawyer, answered grudgingly. Is everything okay? No. Everything is not okay, I snapped, my voice sharper than I intended. Did my mother change the deed to the house? Did she give it to Riley? There was a long pause on the other end of the line. Liz, I don't know if I'm allowed to discuss this with you. Your mother. Just tell me the truth, I pleaded, my voice cracking. I deserve to know. Another agonizing pause. Yes, he finally admitted. Your mother made some changes a few months ago. She transferred the house to Riley. My stomach plummeted. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. She did what? She set up a life estate, he explained. Technically, your mother still owns the house for as long as she's alive, but... I sat there in stunned silence, the weight of his words crushing me. Why didn't you tell me? I choked out. I advised her to talk to you about it, but ultimately, it was her decision, he said gently. I'm sorry, Liz. I hung up without saying another word, the betrayal searing through me. For the next few days, I couldn't shake the feeling of injustice. It wasn't just about the house anymore, it was about trust. My own mother had made this massive decision without even telling me, without giving me a chance to understand or to voice my feelings. Every time I thought about it, my stomach twisted into knots. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't focus at work, and I barely spoke to Mark and the boys. Mark tried to comfort me, but he didn't fully grasp the depth of my pain. It's just a house, Liz, he said gently. I get that you're upset, but maybe your mom thought she was doing the right thing. You don't need the house. We're fine. I shot him a look that could have killed. It's not just a house, Mark. It's everything that house represents, my entire childhood. I spent so many years taking care of that place, and now it's like it doesn't matter. Like I don't matter. I get it, I do, he said, pulling me into a hug. But you're putting yourself through hell over something that's already done. You can't change it. I knew he was right. I had to confront Mom. It took me 2 weeks before I finally mustered the courage to drive down to Pennsylvania to see her. The trip was a blur of anxious thoughts and rehearsed arguments. I knew this conversation wouldn't be easy. When I arrived at the house that now, in my mind, felt more like her house, I hesitated at the front door. The memories came flooding back, the good and the bad, the family dinners at the big wooden table, the teenage arguments that seemed earth-shattering at the time. She looked smaller than I remembered, older. She must have sensed the tension radiating from me because her expression softened. Lizzie, she said softly. I walked inside, the familiar scent of lavender air freshener hitting me as I stepped over the threshold. The house looked exactly the same framed photos of me and Riley hanging on the walls. Do you want some coffee? She asked, trying to fill the silence. No, I said sharply, following her into the kitchen. I want to talk. Mom paused at the counter, her back to me. I figured you'd come by eventually. You didn't think maybe I deserved to hear it from you? I asked, my voice shaking. She turned around slowly, her face etched with guilt. Liz, I didn't know how to tell you. I didn't want to hurt you. You hurt me by going behind my back. I had to hear it from her. Do you know how humiliating that was? You didn't even give me a chance to understand. You didn't trust me. Mom looked down at the kitchen counter, avoiding my gaze. It wasn't about trust. I was trying to make things easier. For everyone. I let out a bitter laugh. Easier? Easier for who? For Riley? Liz, for you too. I didn't want you and your sister to fight over the house after I'm gone. I thought this way it would all be settled, and you wouldn't have to deal with it. Settled? How is this settled? I challenged, my voice rising. And for the first time, I saw how fragile she really was, how much this entire situation had weighed on her. I didn't mean to make you feel this way, Lizzie, she said, her voice trembling. You have your own life. You've got your house with Mark and the boys. Riley needed something. She's had a tough year. Greg losing his job, Sophia struggling in school. She needed the security. I couldn't stop the flood of emotions. I've been taking care of this place since Dad died. I've been the one who shows up, who helps you when you need something. Riley doesn't even come around half the time. And now she's the one who gets rewarded. It's not about rewarding anyone, Mom cried, her voice cracking. It's about making sure both of you are okay. I love you both, Liz. I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought you'd understand. I felt the anger drain from me all at once, leaving behind a hollow sadness. I didn't want to fight with her anymore. I just wanted to know why she couldn't see what this had done to me. I don't understand, Mom, I said quietly, my voice barely above a whisper. I don't understand why you couldn't just talk to me. You didn't even give me a chance. Mom sank into one of the kitchen chairs, her face crumpling. I'm so sorry, Lizzie, she sobbed. I didn't know what else to do. I thought I was protecting you. I stood there, torn. I wanted to reach out and comfort her, to let go of all the anger and resentment, but I couldn't, not yet. I needed to figure out how to move on from this. Mom nodded, her eyes red and puffy. Take as much time as you need, sweetheart. I'll be here. I left the house that day with a mixture of relief and sorrow. For the next few months, I kept my distance from the family. I stopped going to the house. I wasn't ready to face them yet. It wasn't until spring that things changed. Just as Mark and I were getting the boys ready for bed, my phone buzzed on the counter. I almost didn't answer. Liz, Riley's voice was shaky. It's Mom. She had a stroke. The world suddenly tilted on its axis. She's at the hospital, Riley continued, her voice thick with emotion. The doctors, they don't know if she's going to make it. I'll be there, I whispered, already grabbing my jacket. The drive to the hospital was a blur of fear and guilt. All I could think about was how I'd wasted the last few months being angry with her, how I hadn't visited, hadn't tried to make things right. When I arrived at the hospital, Riley was sitting in the waiting room, her face pale and drawn. She stood up when she saw me, and for the first time in months, we didn't argue. We hugged each other, both of us too scared and heartbroken to care about anything else. Mom was unconscious, hooked up to machines. The doctor said it didn't look good. They told us that if she woke up, she might not be the same. There could be permanent brain damage. She might never regain full control of her body. I sat by her bedside for days, holding her hand. Riley was there, too. We worked together to take care of Mom, to make sure she was comfortable. For the first time in years, we weren't fighting. But the miracle never came. Mom passed away quietly one rainy afternoon, with me and Riley sitting by her side. The grief was overwhelming. I'd lost my mom, and in a way, I'd lost the chance to truly fix things between us. The funeral was small, just close family and friends. I sat beside Riley, both of us numb with grief. Despite everything, I loved my mother. Losing her felt like losing a part of myself. After the funeral, the issue of the house came up again, but this time, it didn't feel like the battle it had before. I was too tired, too heartbroken, to care about the material things. I didn't have the energy to fight anymore. A few days after the funeral, I went back to the house one last time. It was quiet, filled with the echoes of laughter and tears. I packed up a few things, some old photo albums, Dad's fishing hat, a few knickknacks that reminded me of happier times. Riley stood awkwardly at the edge of the driveway, watching me. I'm sorry, Liz, she said after a long silence, for everything. I should have handled things differently. Mom, she put me in an impossible position, and I didn't think it through. I never wanted to hurt you. I didn't even know how to deal with it myself. She wasn't the confident, in control Riley I knew. She looked vulnerable, even ashamed. I don't know if that makes any difference now. It's not just about the house, I said quietly, my voice raw. It's everything. I feel like I've spent my whole life being pushed aside. The house that Dad built, it was just given to you. Riley sniffled. I didn't ask for it, Liz. I didn't ask for any of it. Mom thought she was doing the right thing. I didn't realize how much it meant to you. Her face flushed. I'm sorry I didn't see it. I've been so wrapped up in my own problems with Greg and Sophia that I didn't even think about what it must have been like for you. I leaned against the car, exhaustion washing over me. I don't know, I whispered. I didn't want to forgive her, not yet. If I pushed her away now, I don't know if we can fix this. I don't want us to hate each other, she cried. I don't want to fight anymore. I'm just stepping closer, Riley said with sincerity. I don't want to fight either. I know I've made mistakes. I want to try and make things right. I want us to be sisters again. I looked at her, searching her eyes for honesty. After what felt like forever, I said, we can try. We stood there for a long moment, the weight of the past hanging heavy in the air. I wasn't sure if we could ever go back to the way things used to be, or if we'd even find a way to move forward together. But I knew that I didn't want to lose her completely. I'm going to take care of the house, Riley said softly. I know it doesn't mean much now, but I'm going to make sure it stays in the family. For Sophia, for your boys. I won't sell it. I was done fighting over the house. I was done fighting over something that, in the end, didn't truly matter. You don't have to do that for me, I said, finally meeting her eyes. But if you want to keep it, then keep it. Take care of it. Take care of what Dad built. I will, she promised, her voice thick with emotion. We stood there for a few more minutes, watching the house, neither of us speaking. The air between us still felt fragile, like one wrong word could shatter whatever tentative truce we'd reached. But it was a start. I should go, I said, finally breaking the silence. The boys are waiting at home. Riley nodded, stepping back to let me finish packing up the car. "You'll come back, right, for Christmas?" "I'd like us to," I said. And for the first time in a long time, I felt a flicker of something not quite hope, but the beginning of something close to it. "I'll come back," she smiled, a small, tentative smile that warmed my heart. The drive home was long and quiet. I replayed the conversation with Riley, replayed everything that had happened over and over in my mind. It felt strange to not be filled with rage or bitterness. I thought about Mom, about the way she had tried to do what she thought was best. I thought about Dad, and I realized that maybe I'd been fighting so hard for the house because it was the last tangible piece of him I had left. But the house wasn't Dad. It was just a place. A place filled with memories, sure, but memories I could carry with me wherever I went. The people I loved were gone, and holding on to the house wasn't going to bring them back. The realization gave me a sense of comfort I hadn't expected. Mark came out to greet me, his face etched with concern as I stepped out of the car. "How did it go?" he asked, wrapping his arms around me. I hadn't realized how tense I'd been holding myself. "It went okay," I said. "I think we might be able to move forward. Slowly." "That's good, Liz," he said softly. "That's really good." I nodded, leaning into his embrace. "Yeah, it's a start." We stood there for a moment, just holding each other, the sounds of the boys playing inside demanding my attention. And in that moment, I realized something important. This was my life now. Misunderstandings, forgiveness, love, loss. Mark, Kevin, Lucas, me family. This was what mattered. In the months that followed, Riley and I slowly began to rebuild our relationship. It wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight. There were still awkward conversations and moments where the old wounds threatened to resurface. But we started talking more, checking in on each other, offering support and understanding. That Christmas, we gathered at the house in Pennsylvania. It wasn't the same without Mom, but somehow, it felt like we were honoring her by being there together. The boys and Sophia played in the snow outside, their laughter filling the air. And for the first time in years, I felt a sense of peace. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't a fairy tale ending, but it was real. Riley kept the house, as she had promised. It was still full of memories of Mom and Dad. In the end, it didn't mean everything was suddenly okay. But it meant letting go of the anger, of the need to be right, of the past that had held us both hostage for too long. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free. Free to move forward, free to make new memories, free to love my sister again, in whatever imperfect way we could. And that was enough for me. So Reddit, after hearing everything, do you think I handled this situation the best way I could have considering all the emotional complexities and family history involved, or were there other actions I should have considered in dealing with my sister and late mother's decisions? I'm eager to hear your perspectives and insights on whether I made the right choices given the circumstances, and I appreciate any feedback you can provide based on your own experiences or understanding of family dynamics.